Crypto is the only way to send millions of dollars to anywhere in the world instantly. Bank transfers only process on weekdays, and that is a huge problem for institutions because they need to be able to send money at any time of the day to anywhere in the world, and they need to be able to send millions of dollars at one time. So that is where crypto comes into place, and that is where I see the biggest opportunity in the crypto space is for these instant transfers any time of day for any amount to anywhere in the world. Recently, I've been doing a lot of research and talking a lot about XRP and Ripple, but they have not done a good job. They have struggled tremendously, a lot due to the court cases and the hearings between the SEC and Ripple, but also they just lack a few important things for a successful long-term payment processing system for bank-to-bank transfers. So I want to talk about one project in particular that I came across that seems to have a lot of advantages to Ripple, XRP, and that entire ecosystem, and obviously towards traditional banking mechanisms we currently have. So today I want to talk about NoxWire. So NoxWire is an innovative bank-to-bank communication system that ultimately enables financial service providers to offer their clients with near instant cross-border payments to over 200 countries in 150 different currencies and as many as 30,000 financial institutions. This is by no means a small just startup. They already have growing commitments of $1.3 billion per year with clients, and they've been gaining traction tremendously as of recently with major partnerships, which we'll go over in a minute. So NoxWire ultimately provides a tailored solution for communicating and processing cross-border payments for financial institutions and most organizations across global market sectors. What they do in particular is they have innovative capabilities that have been developed to facilitate real-time gross settlement between internal users and largely same-day settlements to banks outside of the NoxWire ecosystem. And this is something that is so important, and things that I've struggled with just with bank transfers is because bank transfers only process on weekdays, and sometimes you need to send money somewhere on a weekend. You need to send a large amount, and you can't just do that with banks. So this ultimately with NoxWire, what they're doing is they have this entire system which processes financial transactions within the network as well as interacts with banks outside of the platform through its partners. Ultimately, they have the technology and ingenuity and team that add value to a wide range of customers, a number of institutions, and that is why they've already been able to see $1.3 billion per year in commitments from their clients. So some of the advantages for NoxWire when you're looking at the chart, the difference between NoxWire and like Swift, which is a traditional banking mechanism, or even Ripple, as you can see with NoxWire, they have approximately 30,000 financial institutions within reach, while Swift has 10,000, Ripple only has 250. For requirements, NoxWire has hardware and dedicated IT personnel are not required, but for Swift, hardware and dedicated IT personnel are required, and the same thing for Ripple, it's not required. So you can see that in terms of the requirements, hardware and dedicated IT personnel, NoxWire and Ripple are on the same page. Third thing is going to be application process timeframe. With NoxWire, 2-week application and training process, but for Swift, it takes significantly longer with over 6 to 12 months application process. It takes a long time, and again, we don't need more dragging out, more delays in payment processing space and bank-to-bank transfers. We want things done as soon as possible. We want clients and institutions to be able to integrate into the network. We want everything to happen as quickly as possible. And you can see with Ripple, it depends on the client. And you can look through all these other benefits and differences between NoxWire, Swift, and Ripple. Like some similarities between them, but still are many differences. You can see obviously Swift is the slowest, most outdated, has been around the longest, so it doesn't really have any of the same capabilities as NoxWire or Ripple. But then when you're looking at Ripple versus NoxWire, NoxWire has even more advantages than just Ripple does, which I think is really, really important. So like even just the internal transaction time. For NoxWire, they have 2-second processing time versus a 3 to 5 day average transaction time for Swift and a 4-second processing time for Ripple. So they are significantly faster, exponentially faster than Swift, and they are twice as fast as Ripple. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about recent partnership they just had. So recently, NoxWire announced a major partnership with ARF. ARF and NoxWire announced this new global payment partnership that ultimately is going to strengthen market offerings and increase the global reach of both institutions. And the cool thing about this is that ARF and NoxWire are both internationally focused financial institutions that specialize in cross-border payment solutions. With ARF, they are essentially a global settlement banking platform that offers real-time fiat-to-fiat cross-border settlements. They offer credit lines and global treasury management to financial institutions. ARF also, they have credit line options, which can save as much as 100% of working capital requirements. And this partnership expands both companies' umbrella with the NoxWire payment system processing cross-border payouts in over 150 countries to 30,000 financial institutions. This is a really, really big deal. Last couple things with this partnership is that with this partnership, it's going to include improving the global reach of ARF with the utilization of NoxWire's dashboard system. And at the same time, ARF will greatly increase the capability of the NoxWire's treasury, payment, and credit line services. So they're taking benefits from ARF, using those for NoxWire. ARF is using the benefits from NoxWire. It's like a symbiotic relationship where both of the people in the partnership are really benefiting, which is really cool as they're both in very similar spaces, but now they just have the benefits of both companies. Now let's talk a little bit about the NoxWire ecosystem in particular. So with the NoxWire ecosystem, we need to talk about GSX because GSX is similar to XRP for the Ripple ecosystem. XRP is used in the Ripple ecosystem, and similarly for NoxWire, GSX is ultimately a gold-backed cryptocurrency. So the way it works is it's a gold-backed cryptocurrency, but it's backed by assets including gold and other mineral mines in addition to mineral rights to the land. GSX ultimately, what it does is its sales will fuel investments that will allow businesses to be purchased, set up, and run with the goal of adding even more value to the GSX coin. GSX offers investment security by securing assets in a trust. So if GSX falls apart, can no longer operate, the assets will ultimately be liquidated to be paid out to GSX holders. So this makes it more secure than, let's say, another coin like XRP and what they're doing for the Ripple ecosystem, because it is physically backed, meaning that it is much more secure in the event of a catastrophe or something happening or just complete disaster in the crypto space. So GSX ultimately uses both traditional mechanisms and their pioneering aspects of cryptocurrency to maintain growing value. They have this from the real world assets, but also what they're doing with the NoxWire ecosystem. GSX, they ultimately use this Apollo blockchain, which ensures extremely fast transaction times to facilitate rapid transactions. And that is why you're able to see so fast transactions on NoxWire's ecosystem versus, let's say, Ripple. It's significantly faster. So ultimately, GSX, they offer real asset growth through mining and business acquisitions and operations. And GSX ultimately with their partnership with NoxWire, it allows for instant liquidity on NoxWire, which will allow financial institutions to retain valuable capital earnings to stay ahead and benefit from their competitors. So this is something that is really, really cool. GSX, just think of it like the XRP for the Ripple ecosystem. GSX is just going to be used by financial institutions as a liquidity option for to reduce pre-funding. So think of it, XRP and GSX are essentially similar in their functioning, but GSX has that real world aspect with physical assets as well. Last thing I want to go over is going to be with APL. So APL, if you have not heard of it, is among the world's fastest cryptocurrencies with a sustainable and feature-rich blockchain. Apollo FinTech's vision is ultimately to provide every single mainstream feature on one sustainable platform. So when you're looking at their site, you can see they talk a little bit about first to launch sharding. They have the most features. They have the most advanced technologies, world's fastest cryptocurrency, DApps, and all these additional use cases. But the important thing about this is that APL is also in a partnership with NoxWire as well. So APL's features are made to power massive global use cases with the incredible long-term potential in an ever-changing market. And ultimately, they have unparalleled speed and a lack of a blockchain moat, which makes APL perfect for users. That's not the case for many different cryptocurrencies. So from regular everyday people to financial institutions, they ultimately are going to be able to benefit from speed, security, and sustainability with APL's token. Apollo's blockchain ultimately is in this partnership with NoxWire to help ensure that both Apollo blockchain and NoxWire are able to have the benefits, just like what we talked about with ARF and NoxWire. APL holders ultimately are set to benefit massively and on a scale that we have never seen before, because the more APL tokens you have, the more you benefit from people transacting on the NoxWire ecosystem. The way it works is with this partnership, the more transactions that take place on NoxWire, the more APL holders are rewarded. So just to put this into perspective, there's $156 trillion for the global cross-border payment market, and it's only going to keep growing. So this is something that's just very important for APL holders, because APL is connected to the NoxWire ecosystem, and the more transactions that take place in the NoxWire ecosystem, the more APL token holders benefit. So this is a pretty cool solution to one of the biggest problems in the crypto space. Like I said, you could see all the differences between NoxWire, Swift, and Ripple. And if you're just looking into these, I think it's pretty clear that we need something to change, especially for Swift and the traditional banking system. Is it going to be Ripple? Is it going to be NoxWire? Or is it going to be something else? Personally, what I've seen so far, NoxWire has the most advantages. So that is why I wanted to share this video with you guys.